We proclaim the resurrection of Christ when His light illuminates the dark moments of our existence and we are able to share it with others, says Pope Francis. Easter is meant to be a symbol of hope, renewal, and new life. Dear friends, let us make our Easter journey with Mary Magdalene, the first herald of the resurrection. Mary Magdalene loved the Lord dearly. She grieved intensely over His shameful death, felt hollow, void within. But her encounter with risen Jesus makes her the messenger of His resurrection. She was a faithful follower of Jesus who had the fire of love for the Lord, who had given her new life by setting her free from the sins that made her miserable and unloved. Once she was forgiven and healed, she falls in love with Jesus, and from then on, she never lost sight of Him. She faithfully followed Him till His death, and even after His death, she could not part from Him. The night of His death was long, sad, and disappointing. Therefore, she gets up when it was still dark to visit her beloved in the tomb. For her utter surprise and panic, the tomb was both open and empty. She could not find her beloved. So her anxiety and worry grew worse. So she was panicky and frightened and started restlessly searching for Jesus. She was exhausted but never gave up her search. Her heart began weeping because her beloved's body was not found. At that very moment, a stranger asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who are you looking for?" With an expectation, she addressed him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Now, the risen Lord could no longer keep her in suspense. He revealed Himself to her by calling out her name, Mary. Immediately, she recognized the voice of her beloved and responded with great surprise, joy, and respect, Rabboni, which means teacher. With the sound of her name, she was bonded in love and intimacy with her Lord once again. Imagine what those moments might have been to Mary Magdalene as she encountered her beloved. Hear her heart pounding, almost bursting with joy, tears flowing down her cheeks, stunned without words. She must have just fallen at His feet and worshipped Him. Once she encountered the Lord of her life, she could no longer hold on that joy within her. She became an apostolic woman, apostle of apostles, the first herald of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, by proclaiming that the Lord is risen. Dear friends, how about you and me? Is my heart restless in finding Jesus? Do I experience an encounter with the risen Lord? How intimate am I with my Lord? Do I believe that I am dear and precious in His eyes? Do I hear Him call my name when I desperately look for Him? Do I recognize His voice and bonded in intimacy with Him? How can I become a messenger of his resurrection? Do I have a daring spirit of Mary Magdalene to become the apostle of Jesus? Does my encounter with Jesus fire me to reach him far and wide? Do I become restless when my spiritual life sluggish? What makes me comfortable and lax with my spiritual journey? Do I make conscious efforts to awake from my spiritual slumber? The awareness of the presence of the risen Jesus always gives us confidence that He is in control even at the most terrifying times. We have to step out to meet Jesus in faith like Mary Magdalene. And then we fall in love with this wonderful, exciting, personal risen Jesus full of love. With such an encounter, we will truly experience a change of heart, renewal of thoughts, healing of our negativity, and receive divine power through an intimacy with Jesus. The intimacy of Jesus is much deeper than that of the physical world. He looks at our soul and loves us unconditionally. His gaze of love will cast out all our fears, and our gaze of love will draw us more closely to His embrace. In the words of Pedro Arrupe S.J., the former general of the Society of Jesus, nothing is more practical than finding God, that is, than falling in love in a quite absolute, final way. What you are in love with, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what will get you out of bed in the morning, what you do with your evenings, how you spend your weekends, what you read, who you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you with joy and gratitude. Fall in love, stay in love, and it will decide everything. Dear friends, have a hope-filled Easter season. Do not abandon yourselves to despair. We are Easter people, and Hallelujah is our song.